Right, not yet. You're early. You need this. We haven't started yet. All right. All right, so welcome everybody to Lake Superior Interfaith Community Church. My name is Sue and I'm the president this 2 years. And at this time, I would really like for us to have an invocation by our speaker, Robert Aho.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. How wonderful to see us all here together practicing the same. We're all in this same space. We're all in this same practice. And this multiplies the blessings. It multiplies the blessings. This is so much better than just practicing by yourself. This is a community of spiritual practitioners from many different backgrounds, many different ways of looking at our lives and discovering who we really are. I thank you all for being here and inviting me to speak today, and may we bring great benefit to all beings. Thank you.
And Jean, could you read our statement of intent, please?
Good morning. We are fortunate to have a variety of speakers for Sunday services. By using guest speakers, we gain wisdom from all those who share. This is a church where you can worship the God of your own understanding, a place to experience joy and be uplifted, a place where we can gain strength and inspiration to share with all we meet throughout the week. We invite you to join us in this celebration of life, to nourish your spirit and to enjoy the company of kindred souls.
Thank you. All right, and now we're going to sing our opening hymn, which is on the white card in the hymnals, and it is Let There Be Peace. All right, do we have an opening hymn? Number six. That's number 6 in Wings of Song, Morning Has Broken. right. So yeah, my name is Sue, Sue Brewer, and I'm the president for the next couple of years. And thank you for being here today. We really enjoy your company. Those of you on Zoom, we appreciate your company as well. So our speaker today is Robert Aho. We have seen him multiple times and we can't wait to see him again. He's awesome. We love hearing what he has to say. We had a little pre-session of Om before we started, and it really helped a lot to calm us all down. Well, I'm never calm, so whatever. All right, so the other thing that we have at this point in time, we have announcements. Let's decorate the church. If you've got some decorations you want to either donate or loan to the church for a couple of days, we have Christmas coming up, so let's decorate the church. And we can do it anytime. The giving tree is no longer here because it fell apart. So instead we have a giving table. If you've got hats, mittens, gloves, warm clothing, or if you have toiletries like Steve, you brought in a ton of toothbrushes and toothpaste, those things you get from the dentist and you never get to use because you just have so many of them, bring them on in. Also toys for the kids, if you have any toys that are gently used or are not being used, bring them along in, and we'll have some toys for kids who might not get one otherwise. We are going to have a drumming potluck. We were going to have it on the 21st, but it sounds like it will fit better on the 22nd. Yeah, we're not going to do the potluck because that's going to be downstairs anyway. But but we're going to do drumming after the service. We'll grab some chairs around or move pews around. We'll have a nice little drumming circle up here and we're just going to let it free flow. So if you want to do some drumming, come on by next week and hang out after service, and we'll do some drumming. Course of Miracles, if you're interested in Course of Miracles study group, please let one of the board members know, Steve or Jean or Carol or me. Carolyn might be able to shove your name along as well. So if you're interested, let us know. We were going to hold our board meeting on December 22nd, but we all decided that the drumming would be better. So if you want to join us at our board meeting, if you have any interest in that, the 29th after service and a little bit of food in our bellies. So the 29th is our next board meeting. We do have some prayers, but we'll get to that in a minute. Next week's speaker is going to be Janet Hymas. Yeah, and she's going to speak about Bruno Groening. I always pronounce that wrong. Bruno Groening and the Circle of Healing Friends, or Healing Friends Circle, whichever way you want to put it. So if you have any questions about what that's all about, bring them next week because she's going to tell us. And at this time, does anybody else have any other announcements? Yes, Carolyn.
Since Robert is here, we haven't officially announced that he's going to be leading mini retreats, MINI retreats, in meditation the first Sunday of every month starting in January. And it's going to be a fantastic way to anchor us in practicing meditation together and really sharing the energy. And once a month is what you suggested, and it resonates, and then that will be for 2 hours. Is that right? 2 hours, and we'll start at 12:30 probably after lunch. And so on Sunday, first Sunday every month, so it'll be this starting in January. And the other thing is that it's one of our longtime members, Kim Lutke, is having a workshop here on the last Saturday of the month, which I believe is the 28th. And it's an awesome workshop. I did it last year, and she brings in literally probably 1,000 pounds of paper, of magazines, calendars, everything, and we make vision boards. And she calls it a cosmic guidance tool or something. And she brings lots of great snacks. And so that's 9 to 12, that last Saturday of the month. And so we'll have some kind of notice about that downstairs too, at some point. Okay, thank you.
There's one last announcement, and that announcement is Christmas dinner. We're having a potluck Christmas dinner here at the church. We have names, we have a sign-up sheet for that, so if you want to put your name on that and tell us what you're going to bring, that'd be awesome. And we are going to have a ham. Somebody's going to provide us with a ham, either the church will, or I think there's another parishioner who wants to bring a ham. So we will have some food. We had Thanksgiving potluck was well attended and well overfed. So we'll be doing that again. So sign up downstairs if you want to be on the list.
Last time we ate at 1. I think we might do that again, 1 or 2. And I wanted to offer a possible Christmas movie afterwards. So I'll get that together, but we could do that after we eat. It's called This is Christmas from 2022.
And also, so it's on Christmas Day. So if you have no other plans for Christmas Day, come and join us here. And bring friends and family. At this point, let us shift our focus from announcements to our healing bowl. Our healing bowl is always active, whether you put a name physically on a piece of paper and into our bowl, or whether you do it with your intention. Those requests are always prayed over, and the bowl is always resonating with the healing of them, that person or people. So at this point, do we have any prayer requests?
My daughter-in-law is having a lot of trouble with her eyes, and they live in Bemidji. I think she'll probably get a referral, and she might come to Duluth, but yeah, she can't see. So her name is Amber. So prayers for her, please.
Prayers for Amber.
I got a text just a little while ago, 10 o'clock. Debbie Chitar, one of our board members, is in the hospital right now. And she had a small stroke. So we're lifting her up, as we are lifting all. And we're also going to really remember Gaia, our earth, as we go through this ascension period, and the love and compassion for all the suffering and all the glory. Our gratitude.
Any other prayer requests? Well, we'll think of everybody in the bowl and everybody in our minds who need prayers. So at this time, we're going to sing number 74, In the Silence, in Wings of Song, and then we'll have a brief moment of silence, and then Robert will come up and give us much wisdom. And so it is. Welcome, Robert.
Hmm. There we go. All right. Thank you, everybody. The topic I wanted to speak about today has to do with energy. And the title, as you may have read in the email, is Remaining at Ease in Turbulent Times. And that's what we're seeing in the world today. It's very turbulent. It's very energetic. It's easy to become very disturbed by what happens. One thing to pay attention to, though, is that it's always been this way. We're in a dimension, a physical dimension that doesn't really know how to deal with energy, doesn't really understand how to remain at ease. It's largely part of why we're here. We don't understand this amazing light, this amazing truth. We don't understand the energy that affects our lives, the disturbing emotions, the thoughts. We see things and it's very disturbing, and so then we make it bigger. And pretty soon it's consuming our lives. So what do we do? What do we do? Now, I think something happened. Now, as many of you know, I just had my third heart procedure just a week and a half ago. And so my first heart procedure, that's the one that I wrote the book about, and then I wrote another book about it because it was so much more than I could contain in one book. And I'm working on a third book about it, actually, in a much more detailed book about that journey through the death bardo. And so, sort of to briefly summarize what happened to me, I died, and I instantly became the light, the source, this profound, bright, brilliant condition. And I remained in that condition for an eternity. Time is an illusion, and I realize that self is an illusion as well. It's something we work very hard to cultivate and make happen, and we're always working, all these identity things, these things attached to our ego. And so that I cannot describe. It sounds like I just described it, but I really cannot describe it. It's so much more brilliant and intense than anything we can imagine. We just sort of are left with an impression of light. And we've all seen that. We're all the same. We've all been there. This isn't something unique to me. This is just something I was able to remember. That's the only thing different about it, is I was able to remember being there. Now, I didn't die. I didn't remain, I didn't get thrust into another rebirth. I decided to come back. As my memories started to come back in this energetic dimension, I started to sort of, I think you would say, come out of this intense, indescribable condition. I entered a very turbulent condition that we can call the energetic dimension. Now, human beings, we're in a physical dimension. We don't really see the energetic dimension. We might encounter somebody who can see auras, or they can sense electrical currents. Maybe they're not seeing it, but they know all this, they feel these fields of energy. Okay, these are very sensitive people. They can sense these things. And it took me about 100 years of reconstruction time to come back. I mean, the length of a very long lifetime. And I don't think I'm all here yet. To be quite honest, I'm not. There's a lot of what I used to think was me is just I don't remember that at all. And so this turbulent dimension, this turbulent energetic dimension, is so much more vast than the universe. The universe is like a little dot. I think, and I have spoken about this before. And the turbulence, the extreme violence of this turbulence, these storms, these blasts of energy, this amazing colors and light, and that really, even that it's impossible to explain. The complexity of it, the intensity of it is just so much more than anything we ever experience here on Earth. So, I say 100 years, infinity, I was gone for an eternity, 100 years in the energetic dimension, and when I popped back into my body, I found out that I had flatlined for 5 minutes. That's it. So, time is an illusion. And what did I do? I laughed. It was hilarious. This person, this self that I think is so real and so serious all the time, I laughed because this physical manifestation is just, it's almost like a cosmic joke. It's like, why is this happening? Because it's such a very minuscule part of reality that we always think it's so big, and it's not. It's not. It's a very small thing. And so I came back from that with an understanding of energy. I mean, I laughed. Laughter is a way to disperse negativity. And I wasn't purposefully, like consciously saying disperse negativity, but I had a heart procedure that people oftentimes, they a little grouchy afterwards, to say the least. And so I came out of it that way, with joy. It felt like I was reborn, like I was a child again. I had that innocence of mind. Everything was raw and open and accepting. And I was changed. I was very different from before I had the procedure. And I didn't even want to talk about it with anybody for a while because I thought they'd say, "Oh, he's lost it. He's crazy," because it's not something that we experience very often. Now I'm discovering there's all kinds of people who've had these near-death experiences of different types. Jerry and I have talked about it, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So the second heart procedure, I remained sort of energetically cross-legged, floating in space. It was more like an out-of-body experience, watching my heart procedure take place. That was the second one. It wasn't that much to report, really. It was pretty simple. And I had the same cardiologist, and he and I laughed about it a little bit afterwards, and it was great. So the third heart procedure, the one that was a week and a half ago, I mentioned this to a few people, and I talked about it on my podcast, which if you want to look at that, it's at timelessluminosity.com. You can subscribe for free, and it's part of a newsletter. I didn't have a near-death experience. I didn't have anything to report in that regard. Basically I was in the pre-op room, and then I opened my eye, blinked, and I was in the post-op room. It was that simple. But when I came out of this, everything looked like rainbows. There was light streaming out of everything. There were spheres of bright light. In Tibetan Buddhism, we refer to those as tiglas. There were these prisms that were dancing, and light was streaming through, and it was refracting the light, and it was very much like rainbows. Okay, so very energetic. It was a very energetic recovery. immediately tested for a stroke. It wasn't a stroke. They did a little test for that, and then we were talking about other possible explanations. Maybe the anesthesia, maybe maybe I was having a migraine. Because I couldn't see, people were talking to me, but I couldn't really see them. There was all this light, all this energy. Okay, so I mentioned this to people, and then they asked me, "Are you able to go into that type of reality when you meditate?" And so I said, "Well, yes, I can do that if I want. I mean, I'm a Dzogchen practitioner. The awareness of this light is 24/7. We remain present in the awareness of this bright light. We fine-tune ourselves to energy. We work with energy. Okay, that's part of Dzogchen practice. I'd have to be a long talk if I went there very long. But so the important thing that when I mentioned this to people, people wanted to, can you replicate that through meditation? The point of meditation is to awaken. You awaken to these experiences, these realities. You become aware of that bright light. You become aware of who you really are. That's the point of meditation. So it would be a mistake to, and this is, I'm sort of doing this long caveat here, because it would be a mistake to sort of cling to those types, trying to bring out those experiences. You can do anything you want when you meditate. You can cultivate any type of experience. You can discover all sorts of things that you didn't know before. This is part of meditation. This is part of this inquiry in mind. You're looking inwardly. You're not looking outwardly for answers. You're looking at your own mind, looking inwardly. And so yes, I was vastly aware of this energetic condition, and it felt a little bit like sparks holding me up and these rays of light kind of wanting to whisk me away, and this bright, bright, intense light surrounding all of this. And it was absolutely amazing. And I remained at ease. So if I had sort of tried to grasp that and cling to it, I would have not been able to remain at ease. I would have become disturbed. I would have become fixated on that energy, and on that bright light, on these rainbow lights. And so I just remained at ease in that. So that energy, as beautiful as that appeared to me, that's the same as anything you encounter in this world. Energy is energy. Light is light. What disturbs us is when we encounter people who are trying to hide from the light. They're trying to become more dark. They do things that are more disturbing and destructive and harmful. That's when we become fixated on the energy, and that pulls us in the wrong direction. Now we're not paying attention to what's happening in our heart center. We're paying attention to things that are quite awful in our mind. We've sort of made that judgment. And then we start to make it bigger, and it starts to consume us. And so the first thing to remember, very important, don't let this become a fixation. Don't let your own disturbances of mind consume you and take you over. Very, 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 very important. I can't stress that enough. So why would we want to remain at ease? Why not become very disturbed? Why not become, some kind of a warrior or a revolutionary and going out and, whatever, meeting everything we encounter, we do battle with that. Why wouldn't we want to do that? Because that consumes you. That becomes that's another way of hiding from the light. And when we hide from the light, we're really, when I say light, I'm saying, like source. I'm saying beyond any kind of words that we can use. This is beyond our, our tiny, minuscule human understanding. We understand that when we open our heart and mind, when we allow things to be, when we see all phenomena as it is. We're not trying to change anything. We're remaining very steadfast in our heart center. We're remaining very strong. We're remaining at ease, but we're like a mountain. You can't get pushed at all. Anything that comes your way, any disturbances, they cannot bother you. They cannot tear you apart. You remain at ease. So it's two things. We have the sort of thing where we meditate and we let things go, which we can practice that in a minute here. And we also just have this knowledge of what disturbing emotions, dark thoughts, turbulent times, what that does to us. So do we engage in that or do we let it go? The importance of letting it go is crucial because we need to awaken. And what does awakening mean? It means opening our heart and mind to what is. It's the ultimate reality. We're becoming very realistic. We're not inventing anything. So we're not to be able to fully remain at ease in this ultimate reality, we have to simply acknowledge that we are a limited being, but only in our own mind. We have unlimited potentiality. And so when we see how very small this world is, in this small galaxy, in this small universe, in an infinite array of universes, within an energetic dimension that goes on and on and on, far, far greater than any of that, then we can sort of become sort of humble and realize that to bring any benefit to others, we must awaken. We must be on that spiritual path. It's crucial. It's absolutely crucial that we develop this intention of awakening and treat our own spiritual path as the most precious thing that we can possess, by far. By far, the most precious thing that we can possess. It's our own spiritual practice. It's our own intention of awakening. And I use the word bodhicitta. And in my books, I repeat this a lot, that we need that key. We need to unlock that. And what we're really unlocking is something very, very, very simple. Now, as a Buddhist, I've gone to so many retreats, I can't remember them all. I've met many, many fantastic teachers, really great masters. And my path has led me to a place where I don't even really know if I can accurately say I'm a Buddhist, because now, having discovered the nature of mind, my whole being is about being aware of that bright, bright light that I describe. So I don't grab onto these notions that disturb us any longer. So we're in a community here that is on that same path. Whether you know it or not, we're all about discovering who we are. I mean, what other point is there in a spiritual practice, in a spiritual community? We're discovering something that seemingly has been hidden. And you can find that within yourself. It's within yourself. It's not out there. You can't, I went to see all these great Buddhist teachers, and basically each of them said, you go back home and practice meditation. Look within, right? Why is that? They're not going to tell you the meaning of this or that specifically. They're going to say, well, it's this, but you need to discover that. So daily meditation is extremely important. Even, thinking, if you have any opportunities to practice more than once a day, practice. Standing in line at the grocery store, meditate. Stuck in traffic, meditate. Waiting for a repairman, meditate. This is what will release all these things that are binding you. You will achieve liberation, total freedom. This is up to you. And it's within your grasp. You can do this at any time that you want. So, I think we can spend a little bit of time meditating. And there's sort of two parts to meditation that are very important. There's peaceful abiding meditation, which we can call shamatha or shinei, and that's where you learn how to calm your mind. That alone will not bring you to enlightenment. That alone just simply gives you the ground to become a spiritual practitioner in order to awaken. It creates the conditions. And the second part is to investigate, which is this insight into everything. Now, I just described my death experiences and the experiences with energy, and I didn't quote a single Buddhist text when I did that. These appearances are the teachings, what we discover through our spiritual practice. These appearances that come and go, those are teachings. So it's important to pay attention, but it's also important to just let that go. There are two things, because you need to remain at ease. You can become very agitated if you start to cling to things, if you start to think that something is more important than it is. So, I should have brought a bell or something. But so let's just take a moment to do the peaceful abiding meditation. And this is really creating the ground for your own spiritual practice, as I say. So we kind of like half close your eyes and look downward a little bit. I think that makes it easiest. And sort of pay attention to your breath and just breathe nice and easy. Make sure you're sitting comfortably. And start looking inwardly. Look at your thoughts. They come and they go. So you sort of look at the thoughts and then you let them pass. There's another thought and you let it pass. You're not ignoring the thoughts. You're not making them bigger in any way. You're not trying to cover them up. You're not pushing them away. You just simply look at, you just acknowledge that there's a thought, and then you let it go. And so you keep breathing, and you see thought after thought, and you pay attention to breath, and you let it go. You let the thoughts go. Let's do that for just a couple minutes here. And really start to pay attention to how you're letting things go. Okay, now when you start to feel yourself distracted or a little anxious that you're sitting here, maybe you start losing your focus, you start getting other thoughts, you start planning your day, things like that. Go back to breath. Right away, go back to breath and start your practice over again. It's not a bad thing to just simply start your meditation over again. Many small sessions are better than one long session of being distracted. And it's not a failure. If you can immediately acknowledge that you were getting distracted and go back to being focused, that's success. It's that simple. So focus on mind. Focus that your thoughts are coming and they're going. And you're letting them go. You're not letting anything distract you. You're always coming back to breath, coming back to that place of stability. Okay. That's good. So when you're starting in this way, really look at this insightfully. These thoughts, you saw them, they're like little waves. You acknowledge, you let them go. Acknowledge, you let them. Sometimes they're faster, sometimes they're slower. Usually you don't know where they're coming from. You know, thoughts are nothing more than mind in motion. Mind comes from awareness. Or physical existence is an apparent illusion of ignorance, attraction, and aversion. So those are the poisons of mind when we're pushing things away, when we're pulling things closer, or when we're ignoring them altogether. You know, like we're covering them up or we pretend they're not there. So we can investigate mind in this way. So you go into a session of peaceful abiding, and then you investigate. You develop insight. Now I gotta tell you, enlightenment is not very far away. It's where these two things touch. It's right there. You can become an awakened, enlightened, fully enlightened Buddha anytime you want. It's just you have to be able to deal with the energetic condition first. You need to deal with your turbulent life. So, whatever happens in the world, it's the same as these thoughts. Because everything happens in your own mind. Everything that comes your way is something that you are perceiving in a certain way. You're applying the labels to those things. You're saying whether it's good or bad. You're judging things. You're determining that this is something that you want, this is something you don't want, this is something you don't want to pay attention to. So everything is manifesting as mind, but we don't always realize that. And that's for you to investigate. So did you have a question? I thought you were, okay, stretching. So you investigate that. Don't take my word for anything. I'm just here to give people gentle nudges, help you to find your own path, discover who you really are. And I know that we can discover who we really are through meditation, through this constant sense of our own spiritual practice, this path that we're walking on. We find it through community. Right here. All of us, we're combining our energy right here. We look to each other for support, and we develop confidence. we find acceptance. A spiritual community is really not a spiritual community unless we really accept everybody, as this community does. Very much open arms, very much helping each other to discover who we really are. So just remember, when you're seeing all these things, skip the brainwashing on the news networks. That's not helping matters. And you see the world around you. Just realize that it's all energy, it's all mind. And when we are experiencing anything, it's like a reflection from our infinite awareness. It's something that comes from someplace indescribable, a dimension that's far greater than anything an ordinary human being can ever perceive. And if you become a serious spiritual practitioner, you will begin to perceive these things. But don't make that your goal. Make awakening your goal. These experiences, they come of themselves. If we open our heart and mind, if we sort of tap into that childlike quality that we were born with. Why is it that some shaman will say that children are born with infinite wisdom, and then we lose that as we grow older, and then we gain it again when we die? Well, it's because we were just there. When we're reborn, we were just there. It's just like having a near-death experience. You were just there. You just experienced something ineffable beyond anything that human beings can actually explain. Nobody can actually explain it. You can kind of point the way. So we're born as these precious beings with infinite potentiality. And that goes right back to why our spiritual practice needs to be treated as such a precious, precious thing. So I pray that each and every one of you awakens, finds out who you are, discovers our ineffable condition, lives in light each breath, each breath. And with that, I'd like to invite Michael Anderson up here to sing a song that we had talked about ahead of time. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. It's all yours.
Thank you, Robert. Where do I start? Where do I begin? I'll start where I want to end up here. Robert talked about the importance of going back to the sense of wonder and awe of childhood, and how going back to that, it can clear the mind of all the programming that we have taken on because of our human nature, what's going on in the world, what's going on in our life. So how do we go back to that? How do we return to the innocence of childhood? I'd like to do a real quick exercise here. Let's pretend that I've just given you a gift that you weren't expecting. You go, try that. You feel how the jaw drops, the coolness in the back of the throat? Okay. You go into that place of awe and wonder, okay? Now let's pretend that there's a beautiful rainbow, and you weren't expecting it. You're in whatever head drama that you're in, and all of a sudden this sense of beauty appears, and you go into that moment, okay? There's a change in your level of consciousness that happens at that point. And that's closer to that sense of wonder and awe of the child, being childlike. Psychology might call it the beginner's mind. being able to cleanse that programming, okay, and go into a whole nother dimension of the soul. Jung calls the soul is akin to the self. The self is akin to the soul, and it's not the ego. It's not the who the hell do you think you are, but it's who do you think you are, and to be able to ponder that potential, which I believe we came in with. At the same time, to continue to go back to that and understand the importance of being able to return to that. In the words of John Denver, to seek the wisdom of the children and the gentle ways of flowers in the wind. For the children and the flowers are my sisters and my brothers. Their laughter and their loveliness will clear a cloudy day, like the music of the mountains and the colors of the rainbow. They're a promise of the future and a blessing for today. So to be in that space of knowing, to ponder that open-mindedness, you can feel it in your body, you can feel the release of the tension that we do tend to carry, we're not even aware of. The World Health Organization says, sorry about this, Robert, says that we live in a chronic, it's a global epidemic that we live in a chronic state of low-grade, sometimes high-grade hyperarousal. That's the anxiety. And how do we release that? Yes, meditation. Yes, the breath and the breathing. And going into that other dimension of knowing. So you speak to me of sadness and the coming of the winter, fear that is within you now that seems to never end, and the dreams that have escaped you, and the hopes that you've forgotten. And you tell me that you need me now and you want to be my friend. And you wonder where we're going. Where's the rhyme and where's the reason? And it's you cannot accept. It is here we must begin to seek the wisdom of the children and the gentle ways of flowers in the wind. For the children and the flowers are my sisters and my brothers. Their laughter and their loveliness will clear a cloudy day, like the music of the mountains and the colors of the rainbow. They're a promise of the future and a blessing for today. Though the cities start to crumble and the towers fall around us, the sun is slowly fading and it's colder than the sea. It is written, from the desert to the mountains, they shall lead us by the hand and by the heart, and they will comfort you and me. In their innocence and trusting, they will teach us to be free. Oh, the children and the flowers are my sisters and my brothers. Their laughter and their loveliness could clear a cloudy day. And the song that I am singing is a prayer to non-believers. Come and stand beside us. We can find a better way.
I'm short. Thank you, Robert, and thank you, Michael. That was beautiful. Let's give them all another round of applause. Yeah. Thank you, thank you. And now if somebody could bring up the baskets for our offertory. Want to play some music there, Carol? Just a little background music? All right, Jerry, it's your turn. All right, I'll hold that. You hold that, I'll hold this.
Yes. And so we are all together now. We are all together as spirits, and now feel your spirit. Feel your heart. Close your eyes. Feel your heart. And as your heart, you are also spirit too. And so imagine you are just going to leave your body now. Say, I'm going to leave and I'm going to go. And imagine that, you leave your body, and as you go, you see a rainbow of colors that come and feel good to you. So feel your heart, your spirit as a rainbow of colors. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. You are spirits now. You're spirits of the universe of light, compassion, love. Feel light, compassion, love of the spirit that you've always been. Inhale, inhale, inhale. We are all together now. Spirits of light, compassion, love. And as you feel that, know that that is who you are. And feel it, and feel it, and feel it. We are together again. Spirits of a rainbow of colors. We are spirits of the universe too, because that's our home. And thank you all for being here as spirits of the universe, of light, compassion, and love. We are together again. Together again. Always.
Ready?
And forever. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Jerry.
You're welcome. Thank you too.
All right. So at this time, we are going to say our church affirmation. It is on the white card. All right. So our church affirmation. We totally accept the belief that God is in charge of the affairs and direction of Lake Superior Interfaith Community Church. As our thoughts of trust and joyful anticipation join in harmony with the thoughts of all members of this fellowship, we attract the right ministerial leadership and people to our spiritual community. And what are we? We are grateful. Would you like to give us a benediction?
Thank you, everybody. I pray that we all continue on this amazing spiritual path. Thank you, one and all, for being here today. Let us all be grateful to each other and all of our contributions to this amazing energy that we are generating today. May we all awaken. May we all discover these ineffable truths of love and light. May we remain on this path until we become that light. And of course, when that happens, we're still here. Blessings to everybody. Blessings in light.
And let's gather in our circle and sing our closing hymn, God Be With You. If you need the words, they are on our white card. Bring them on up with you.